Round 1 of the 0K 3v3 tournament. Who are these players? I recognise Chronicler and Banduck, but otherwise they're quite new. The format of this tournament is new players. At least one new player on each team. And it's quite a large starting map. Also not a particularly even map. Oh, reasonably even actually. Those two over there, those two spots over there. What have we got? Lots of things happen in 3v3. We've got gunships, rovers, and hovercraft from Men of Iron. Sorry, I should look this up. Yeah, Men of Iron. And Ducktor, Quackington are going for hover, rover, and tank. So far, just expanding. What's the gunship player up to? That could be a wild card. Okay, mostly just expanding economy at the moment. Some darts coming in from the Men of Iron. Okay, some of them sneaking through, mainly just at a scouting spread at the moment. But some will get through to annoy the back line. Yeah, force a response. It doesn't look like much, but the commander's walking backwards, which means it's not walking forwards. And they might even force out a turret. Yeah, technically that's a raid. Slowing down that metal extractor so it's got reduced income. But otherwise, mainly a scout. And forcing a response. We have Nats following the Scorcher. Oh yeah, that's an interesting idea. Really win some raider matchups with a nice lightning bolt onto them. Unfortunately, Nats are not that accurate, which they used to be quite accurate, and now they're quite inaccurate. Because if you could build 6 Nats at the start of the game, and your opponent had 5 Raiders, well, that's all their Raiders and their commander stunned. And then you sort of win the game. And they're quite fast, so Nats are now specialised against big things. They can stun Striders quite well, because the inaccuracy doesn't really matter. But they could find a commander, if there was more than one. Or, yeah, I feel like Nats will be... Oh no, they're not prioritised. But I guess only one isn't that much of a concern. But these Scorchers do get through to harass the economy over here. Meanwhile, we've got this nicely blocked off. Master Hunter really just going for economy up here. Looks quite good. Getting the early Geo. Chronicler similarly getting it. Sorry, Kerma similarly getting early Geo. Chronicler and Nightjar might try and make something happen. Yeah, this is a good number of Scorchers punching through. Leaving this base undefended. So this Geo's going down. This Constructor, these Mexes possibly. This Scalpel can't hold off this much, but it'll get something. And Master Hunter might be in a bit of trouble now. Reinforcements by his teammate. There's a few Scalpels, which can do a surprising amount of damage against Raiders. Yeah, so it's scaring them away. His commander will need to come in and help defend though. They're going to be able to hold this. Oh yeah, lose one plate, but the other ones all survive. Okay. Just holding there. And a scalp comes up. The other side of the map, we've got some defenses to avoid that kind of thing happening. And now Kerma's going for some kind of ogre push, by the look of it. South, the Quackington, have nicely expanded into their area, getting them a good 93 income. North has not quite expanded so far yet, being disrupted over here with this raid. And haven't used the gunships to take these sea mexes, which is something I don't want to see in this map. But they're continuing to fight on the right, chronically trying for a second bit of a heavier push in. Let's have a look. Yeah, a few turrets coming up. Might want to start thinking about getting that reclaim as well. Yeah, just holding again. This mace can't really come into these turrets and that scalpel. Action over here, blast wings and gnats, which don't work that well together because the blast wings set things on fire and the gnats are quite prone to being set on fire. Now we shall have to see what the ducks can do, these ogres. Still the action's over here for the moment. I think they'll fend this off. Although they could send the ballers through here to take out these mexes, but these mexes haven't even been rebuilt. Some good reclaim my Master Hunter. Start getting things, because it's actually building in value, this reclaim here. So let's see, yeah, they've made a nice awkward angle, but no, the defender's coming in time. Getting a fairly even trade, but the reclaim's all quite close to the Men of Iron. Although, just keeping on sending in units. Yeah, he's just streaming units at this point, making battle groups with a nice ratio. And I'm not sure if this will eventually work. These turrets are coming up in the background, so there's a bit of a time limit. Hovercraft are pretty bad against turrets, even Lotus. They just don't have the health to really tank them and take them out. Except, of course, you're going to get some Halberd. But Halberd are not the greatest at actual combat with other units. So should be able to defend this for a while against these similarly sized battle groups. Although PhD Duck, PH Duck, Team Quackinator is leading out on economy with this a nice bunch of wind for overdrive going into these fusions. Nothing, a fusion over here, so quite a bit more energy getting that overdrive. And now a plane plant coming up. Now the ogres are being used. They didn't really have to use their ogres really. They PH Duck for themselves this area so the ogres can just sort of sit there and while they make their economy go up. Okay, Chronicle are now seeing this is a bit impenetrable with forces he's got, switching over to put pressure here. There is a Stinger, but that's about it. Could be taken out by some Scorchers, although this Stardust is nicely coming up to make that expensive. But PH Duck are now they've actually built up an army of Minotaurs here, which should be able to take this out. Attacks from all three sides. Some help from the Nimbus, but Nimbus are not great at stopping things. Good for attrition. Yeah, and there goes that base. What do Men of Iron really have behind this? We've got 6,500 in army just coming into their base. And to defend it, we've got only about 5,000. This is some transport, some artillery. Oh no, just fences. Some transports. These transports could be interesting if they get a chance to use them. Yeah, Chronicler there just drawing. Let's just go right in. A lack of anti-air from the ducks coming in. So these Nimbus will eventually... Well, the Nimbus will ideally take out the riot units, and then Raiders can come in and clear out the Minotaurs. Yeah, the ducks seeing them retreating for the moment to get some anti-air, I presume. Well, no anti-air for now. But nicely consolidating this little battle they had with some reclaim. Chronicler in the meantime, or this lot did that, has just been building up his defensive line here in case Master Hunter goes for him. Master Hunter, on his part, doing some reclaim. Maybe not as much reclaim as you'd want to see, because this is really contested ground almost. You want to slurp it up as quickly as you can. And making a few lances, which should definitely help at whittling down these defenses. What have we got here? Men of Iron with some Nats and a loose force of Raiders, some Rights, some Dominatrix to actually try and take some of these tanks. A decent counter to tanks, because Dominatrix recharge after they capture something, and capturing a Minotaur, you can rest after that. Yeah, being thwarted a bit by this Razor, and just a few bits of AA floating around. How many Scorchers here? 10 Scorchers. And some Badgers in here. There aren't really defenses to Badger, but you can always harass things trying to harass you. Oh, these Lances are going off. These Nats should just die to the Maces. No, not quite. It's hard to push into an equal army, which also has Lancers. Killing off a Lance, though. Killing off both Lancers, that was quite good. Hero Mace there. Let's have a look at the army values. Yeah. The PH Duck have now taken this entire middle zone. The economy is really coming out for them with all these metal extractors in the middle. Getting this reclaim. Getting this reclaim now. It's quite a bit. Yeah. But still, Men of Iron holding off. Nimbus army not quite being built up. They've got something else planned. Maybe a Cerberus here. But let's... I see. Kerma's just gone straight into fighters. And now into a few Lico. Should be good for breaking down the door. Fighters to defeat these gunships. There is a Cerberus up here, which is more a very defensive Cerberus here. It can definitely shell anything trying to come in through these two areas. But they haven't taken this area, so it might just be a waiting game. Oh, real economy coming up here now with Chronicler getting some singularity reactors, pushing the economy far in their favour. Sneaky Ravagers trying to get through, but being defeated by just welders and turrets. Yeah, we've got even with all this overdrive energy, 500 energy and 300 going into overdrive. a much better grid by the ducks. Men of Iron have a bit of a grid with these fusion reactors, but they haven't extended them to all these extractors. So the efficiency is a bit reduced. These mexes are running at 118%, whereas these ones are just running at, what, 109%. So a similar rate, but need to get more mexes. And this mex, of course. Is it possible... Question from the chat. Is it possible to lock the view to follow one player's perspective in 0k spectate? I don't think we have a widget for that. You need a widget which had people sending their camera. The bar, we had one at one point, but it was too janky or something, so it's not on by default. The bar is improved on it, I think, so we could put theirs in. Unfortunately, we'd need it to be on for everyone so that we could have them transmitting their camera. You can do spec full view to see what one team can see. That's about it for what we've got by default. So what's going on? The Master Hunter putting up these defenses. It should be able to hold off Lance for a while with those shields. This Cerberus putting a bit of a stop to... Oh, what's this? Ah. Some terraform over here just to go right into the middle. If they get this off without it being spotted, then they can just run through and kill everything. How much does this cost? A decent amount. These chunks costing 300, 350, 237. And this is just the estimate. The actual cost will be a bit greater due to the pyramids, which are hard to predict beforehand. But yeah, they can just run things right in here with this. It's a neat idea. There's a similar spot over here for it, although a little bit less easy. A bit more expensive to do over here. This map is not perfectly balanced. It's mostly balanced, which is an interesting place to be. Yeah, this Cerberus really pushing off at least the rovers. Light rovers can't take that many shells. But now, yep, going over to this bridge. He needs to repair them if he wants to really push in. But that may... This movement of army might tip everyone off. But... Is it too late? Here comes the army over this bridge. What have they got to defend? They're counter-attacking, but these Minotaurs should be able to stop that. Or even if they don't. The Ducks can... Sorry, the Men of Iron can take this area. And meanwhile their base is dying. Okay, Master Huntington scrambling to respond to the back door. There's slower units coming in from Chronicler. Should be a fairly even battle here. The Nimbus coming in, but where are the fighters? Over here. Meanwhile, Nightjar just going in the front door. It's not going to work into a Desolator. Oh, as in, the Impalers will work for sure, but they've got to kill it before anyone goes in. But Master Hunter's army getting destroyed because all of his defenses are over here. And Chronicler looking to clean up this base, I'd expect. He's got a bit of a time limit because he's being flanked. This is not a very wide reinforcement path. But there goes Master Hunter's base. Losing his factory. The plates are disabled. Lose a few fusions off this, you'd think. No, responding to the reinforcements by Band Duck. But then, yeah, cleaning up the rest of this base. Shame because he was getting a nice bit of grid, this pylon, gridding these mexes. These shields and stingers staying up under lance fire, but not protecting what they wanted. Now Chronicler thinking, can I just clean these stingers up at my own leisure? There's no units reinforcing them anymore, so a lance can sit back here and ping away for however long it takes. Meanwhile, Van Duck responding with his own wall, but this wall is quite easy to tear down. The Desolator went down, killed by these Impalers, I would guess. But there's still this Cerberus to deal with if you want to get over here. Although, this needs 50 power. If you kill this pylon and this pylon, it should shut down. They're not to know that, though. They have to scout into the base. Getting a few, oh, quite a few Lico actually. They could... and Men of Iron seeing that, well, they've lost their entire right side, and throwing in the towel. Yeah, okay, Ducktor really taking an early lead on economy there. Possibly due to overdrive. They had quite a bit of early energy with these wind turbines and these fusions coming up. Yeah, quite early. And you can see the jumpiness of all the wind. And building up and keeping their army alive. So yeah. Similar fights though. So good job to the PhD Duck.